Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving right into, well, let's face it, one of the absolute biggest headaches for property managers everywhere, multi-unit drainage systems. If you're managing an apartment complex, a condo, or really any multi-story property, you already know the deal. Plumbing in these buildings is a totally different beast compared to a standard single-family home. Today, we're unpacking some awesome expert insights provided by Dr. Drain to explore what they call a building-first approach to drain services. We're going to break down exactly how the pros map, diagnose, and maintain these massive shared ecosystems, and more importantly, how you can stop chasing emergency leaks and actually start managing your building's plumbing with absolute confidence. So let's start with a scenario I'm sure many of you have had the displeasure of living through. It brings up a huge question. Why do backups spread across floors? Imagine this. You get a call from a tenant in Unit 4B. Slow draining sink. Sounds super simple, right? But literally before your maintenance team even gets the plunger out, 3B calls in complaining about water backing up into their bathtub, and suddenly 2B is dealing with a completely flooded floor. Just like that, an isolated annoyance has cascaded into a multi-floor, multi-unit emergency. It's the ultimate property management nightmare. And it happens because we naturally tend to view these units as separate little boxes, when in reality, they're completely dependent on the exact same underlying infrastructure. This cascading disaster happens because of a few really unique multi-unit hurdles. The source material outlines these perfectly. First off, you've got shared drain lines. What one tenant flushes or pours down the sink directly impacts the person living below them. Second, you're dealing with staggered tenant schedules. You can't just shut off the water or rip open a wall at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday without coordinating with a dozen different people who might be working from home or, sleeping after a night shift. And that leads to the third hurdle, complex access across floors. Tracing a single pipe means entering multiple private living spaces. Because of all this, there is an absolute need for a rapid, highly coordinated response. A slow reaction doesn't just mean one unhappy tenant, it means property damage is multiplying by the hour. Which means we really have to stop treating localized symptoms and shift toward a building-first mindset. If a plumber comes in and just snakes the drain in Unit 4B, it's honestly like putting a Band-Aid on a broken arm. Sure, they might push the blockage a little further down the line and give some temporary relief, but the underlying issue is still just sitting there in the shared pipe. The building-first mindset, as highlighted in the source, means professionals step back and look at how wastewater actually moves through the entire property's shared piping network. They consider how an interruption in one vertical stack affects all the lateral branches feeding into it. It's about seeing the forest, not just fixating on a single clogged tree. Section 1. The diagnostic process, finding the root cause. What's actually super interesting about this diagnosis is the structured sequence. They don't just show up and start tearing into the drywall. Step 1 is to evaluate the reported symptoms from the tenants. Step 2 is testing the drain performance right there at the problem sites to see the issue in action. But step 3 is where the real magic happens, using video inspection tools for internal viewing. Instead of just guessing if the problem is localized to a specific fixture or hiding way upstream in a shared section, technicians literally send cameras right into the plumbing. They get absolute visual confirmation of exactly what and where the obstruction is. It turns out, professional teams map out specific risk hotspots. They prioritize the segments of the pipe most likely to influence multiple tenants. So they focus on the main stacks, where all the vertical waste drops down, searching for major blockages and buildup. They inspect the common horizontal runs, those pipes running across the basement or between floors, looking for structural damage like cracks. And they pay special attention to the tie-in points, checking for offset sections where debris easily snacks. By mapping these hotspots visually, they completely take the guesswork out of the equation. Section 2. Targeted solutions and limiting disruption. Based on what those video inspections reveal, teams deploy highly specific tools from Dr. Drain's service arsenal. They don't just use a one-size-fits-all plunger. If the camera shows heavy, solid root intrusion, they might use power rodding to cut it right out. If it's years of sticky grease and scale buildup choking the pipe, gross, I know, they'll use hydrojetting to blast the pipe walls clean. And if the camera revealed actual damage, like a cracked or collapsed pipe, they move straight into drain repair and restoration. The solution is laser-targeted to the exact internal condition of the pipe. The entire operational philosophy boils down to this. Coordinate to reduce disruption, communicate access needs, and aim to complete the job in a single visit. Honestly, this is everything for a property manager. By knowing exactly what the problem is and having the right tool ready to go, service teams can plan the work efficiently. They can tell you exactly which units need to be accessed and for how long, keeping your common areas usable and, crucially, keeping your tenants happy by avoiding multiple, drawn-out visits. But there's a huge warning in the source material that really stands out. Eliminating a blockage without addressing underlying pipe issues can lead to repeat failures. This is absolutely crucial. If your horizontal run has an offset section that's catching debris, hydrojetting it away is great for today. But if you don't repair that actual offset pipe, well, the debris is just going to catch there again next month. Clearing a clog isn't always the finish line. If you ignore the structural issues the camera finds, you are practically guaranteeing repeat failures and escalating costs down the road.
Section 3. Proactive preventative maintenance.
This is where you finally take control with strategic maintenance planning. We're talking about scheduling periodic cleaning and routine inspections way before the water actually backs up. It's about documenting recurring buildup patterns, like knowing that the stack on the east wing always fills with grease every 8 months. It's mapping out your slow drain zones and setting intervals based on your specific building's usage. What you're doing here is taking plumbing, which is normally this dirty, unpredictable headache, and transforming it into clean, actionable, manageable data. A real game changer. Ultimately, it comes down to a choice between reactive chaos, those 2 a.m. emergency calls, unexpected massive disruptions, and super angry residents, and planned reliability. We're talking predictable maintenance budgets, protected building operations, and vastly improved confidence in your infrastructure. When you utilize video inspections, targeted solutions, and strategic planning, you fundamentally shift your entire operation out of chaos and into predictability. So ask yourself honestly about your current property management strategy. Are you reacting to emergencies or preventing them? Because in a multi-unit building, crossing your fingers and hoping the pipes stay clear is definitely not a strategy. Embracing a building-first, data-driven approach absolutely is. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Now take these insights, look at your own maintenance plans, and start taking control of your property's plumbing today.